It's the list and your boy at Fightful.com. With Jimmy Van and Sean Ross Sapp. They're on fire. Boom shakalaka.
200 strong.
What's up, you guys? Sean Ross Sapp. It is Fightful Wrestling's Listen, your boy. It is June 15th, 2022. Jimmy Van's here. Jimmy, what's up?
How are you, man? I've got the new, okay, it's not new for me, Fightful trucker cap, Sean.
Yeah, that we've had that for years, Jimmy.
So when I found that box of merch, like the Sean Ross Sapp masks, which
Yeah.
I got one around here somewhere. When I found that box of merch, it had these nice Fightful trucker caps in it. And I thought, man, I never had one of those. So I'm wearing that now on the air today.
That's great. That's
Isn't it
wonderful.
nice?
Do we still sell those, or?
You'd have to ask Melissa. I
I
don't know.
don't even
Melissa,
think we do.
I know she's listening in the live chat. Tell us if we can get the trucker hats in the shop. So if not, I have a
Interesting.
bunch. I have a bunch in the same box with the Sean Ross Sapp masks.
Yeah.
So-
Well, leave a thumbs up on this video. Subscribe. Tap that bell for notifications. Get in your super chats. Get in your humper chats. We would greatly appreciate that. That gets your question or statement read on the air about any of these topics, and we'll discuss them. So humperchats.com. Jimmy, what do you got going on?
Well, I got to start by talking about Know Your News this week. So Sean Ross Sapp impressed me. So we did Know Your News tonight, which is now live. It goes up on Tuesdays. If you go to knowyournews.com or youtube.com/knowyournews, there it is there. You can go check out the latest edition of Know Your News Tonight with me and Sean Ross Sapp. So I always have these silly news stories, right? And they're 100% real, but they're stupid. And with every news story, I ask my guest if they can relate in any way, either personally or somebody that they know. Most of the time, I'd say 9 times out of 10, they can relate to some, but not all. Then you have Sean Ross Sapp on as a guest. And when you have him on as a guest and you ask him a question like, hey, does anybody you know, did they ever get anything stuck in any orifice of their body that required them to seek medical attention? Only Sean Ross Sapp will say, actually, yeah,
Listen,
I knew a girl that put Pop Rocks in her vag.
I touch grass, a lot of it, Jimmy. I grow grass.
And straw too, Sean, and straw too.
Yeah.
So if you go to youtube.com/knowyournews or knowyournews.com, the latest edition of Know Your News Tonight with me and Sean, lots of silly stories. And Sean had a personal story about literally every topic this week. So it was something. Tomorrow I am filming with the one and the only Chris Van Vliet.
Okay.
And if you want to ask, much like the Humper Chats, if you want to ask a question to myself or Chris Van Vliet, go to KYN Chat. Leave a contribution of any size. You can ask a question or make a comment to myself or Chris. Or if you want to leave it for Sean, sure. Go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, that is a thing that happened. It existed. We greatly appreciate everybody that checks that out as well. We got a lot of Fightful integration over there. Dante says SRS masks and trucker caps sound like the start of a 90s bank heist movie. That they do. And over on Twitch, Lady Cerberus, I think I'm pronouncing that right, says, is this new? So happy you're broadcasting on Twitch. Yeah, I took a look at our Twitch channel, and it wasn't as active as it used to be because a lot of that content is now on Overbooked. So I said, is there any downside to us broadcasting live on Twitch? Joel and Jeremy both said no. So we are going to be broadcasting live on Twitch as well. Just another place that you guys can catch us.
Cool.
And
cool.
We greatly appreciate all of our Twitch viewers. I'll try my best to keep my eye on the bits over there. I'm not as hip to Twitch, but I'll do my best. And we've already got a super chat about Jeff Hardy, but I mean, there's so much stuff going on. Oh, we got Slammiversary this weekend. AAA, we got post shows for both of those, so make sure you all check that out as well. We have a new Impact post show every Thursday. I want to encourage you guys to check that out as well. But also 2 exclusive interviews on Fightful Select this week. Adam Priest, Baron Black. Baron Black got hit with a rock bottom by Lil Scrappy, who performed the song Money in the Bank.
I read something about that on Fightful.com, Sean. Yeah, I saw that.
It was fantastic. Check it out, guys. All kinds of cool stuff. Bri Harper says, Ospreay's opponent at Forbidden Door. It seems to me like they're leaning into a big multi-person tag, but I think that Ospreay should probably get a singles match, especially when you have somebody like CM Punk coming off the board.
I agree. I think it'd be a waste to put him in a multi-man tag.
Yeah. And we have Van Twinblade saying, I'll beat the show tonight. Hope Ethan beats the hair off Miro's chest. Mox and Tanahashi will have a very polite conversation over tea and biscuits tonight. Just announced. I'll be in section 108. If anybody wants to say hi before the show, well, Van Twinblade, I hope you enjoy it. And I hope you enjoy this show. I look forward to the gentlemanly conversation that Moxley and Tanahashi have.
Right.
We're heading towards a wild summer. There are so many events.
How's
over the next
Tanahashi's
couple
English?
months. It's, I think, minimal, I guess. I don't know exactly.
Okay. So it's none of this Anderson Silva stuff where he's on camera and makes you want to think he doesn't know English. And then backstage, he's basically an English historian. It's none of that shit.
Yeah.
Okay. That's
Sorry.
good.
Getting lots of messages right now.
Oh, are
Interesting
you?
Stuff. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Is it anything that you're going to share with us on the air here?
It'll be something that I share with you on the air on The List Goes On FightfulSelect.com today.
Good man, Sean. You've learned so
Subscribe.
well, Sean.
Yeah, learn so well. It's
Learn
all
so
you, buddy.
well. Learn so well.
But I've got a story coming about some of the frustrations around the tag team scene and how quickly that changed over the last couple of weeks. Oh boy.
You mean in WWE or AEW?
No, AEW.
Okay,
AEW.
Interesting. Okay, let's start by talking about Jeff Hardy, and everybody knows what happened. He was arrested on Monday in Florida for a DUI. He was almost 4 times over the legal blood alcohol limit. AEW has suspended him without pay. I heard that Tony Khan got a little bit of heat because he waited on his announcement, but I had no issue with it because he wanted to talk to Jeff first. I don't see a problem with that. And Tony Khan said that Jeff can only return upon successfully completing treatment. What are you hearing on all this, Sean?
So, I mean, this is not something that came out of nowhere. That much I'll tell you about. I mean, there was the situation WrestleMania weekend where Jeff was intoxicated around the Conrad show. And I mean, I did a media event with him right before that. And he said, this will be the last Hardy Boys run. Well, now the last Hardy Boys run might be in months and months and months. It's unfortunate. There were a lot of things that had to change over the last 2 weeks, even before this with the tag team title scene that I will put on Fightful Select right after this show. So go over there and subscribe. But man, when you got a blood alcohol level that's higher than the batting average of any of the Cincinnati Reds, what the fuck are you doing behind the wheel? And I hate that Matt Hardy and Rebby and people like that are getting the blame too.
Yeah.
And people said, why did Rebby feel the need to go out there and put out a video of her personal stuff? I don't know. Why did Jeff feel the need to get behind the wheel of a car and drive drunk? You can say addiction, yes, but still, don't do it. You're going to kill somebody.
Yeah. Or himself.
This situation happened remarkably close in proximity to that of which Tammy Sitch allegedly killed a man behind the wheel while intoxicated. We don't want that to happen. That's not something we want to happen. And the warning signs have been here for a while. And at some point it goes beyond, gee, hope he gets the help that he needs. Of course, we hope he gets the help that he needs. But beyond that, he needs to help keep some people alive by not getting behind the damn wheel. How was he able to rent a car?
I was going to ask you, was it a rental?
It was, I mean, I assume, but okay. I was told he was in Florida. But he maintained possession of a physical driver's license.
Yeah.
And was able to rent a car. So, I mean, first off, why the hell aren't these companies doing better on that? And I was told he was able to do that throughout WWE and AEW.
Yeah. Yeah, they don't scan it in or nothing. They just take a copy of it.
Yeah. And a lot of people said, oh, well, the last WWE appearance, I mean, he got a breathalyzer, he had a drug test. Those allegedly came back clean. But, I mean, they did offer him help. It was clear to them that there was some help needed. And everybody said, no, there's not. Well, evidently there was. And I don't think anybody is beyond redemption over stuff like this. But for the love of God, this has to be it. He can't do this again.
Yeah.
And I mean, this guy could be facing like real time.
Yeah, I'm not a lawyer. I've read up on it a bit. It looks like he's probably going to do 30 days to maybe a few months or something potentially. But I think he needs some jail time. I think
CJ Lilly says that as well.
I think that is what he needs to potentially help him get over these demons, because like you said, he's going to kill somebody or kill himself. And it's, you know what, it's an unfortunate kind of mark on him, because over the last 25 years, he's one of the most popular wrestlers in the world.
Of course.
Over the last 25 years, he is a surefire Hall of Famer everywhere. He's a surefire Hall of Famer in WWE and Impact Wrestling and AEW, even whenever they do it. And this is going to be a mark on him. He's got to, and I have never experienced addiction, and so it's hard for me to kind of comment on what that must feel like.
Yeah.
But he needs jail time, because he is going to kill himself or somebody else. It's an unfortunate thing. And he seems like a good guy too, and he just hasn't been able to get past this, you know.
I'll tell you a thing that I took issue with in this situation was how everybody was just like, I don't want to say everybody, a lot of unreasonable people were like, why hasn't AEW commented? They got to comment. They got to comment. They got to comment. This instant gratification thing, and this comes from a guy who immediately is hitting up AEW saying, comment, statement. I'm doing that immediately. And I see people say, they have to now. No, they don't have to now. They had not been in contact with Jeff Hardy. And it's so wild, because there's this like accelerated scale where people pretend like media doesn't ask AEW any tough questions, because on like conferences or scrums or anything like that, they're not asked. I asked about Jake Atlas weeks ago. I had asked about Jake Atlas a month ago when I heard that his deal expired and couldn't get any information on that. We always ask about this stuff. The right place isn't always where everybody else thinks it's convenient. It's got to be like, you can always ask certain questions in certain places, sure. But there's things like this, like, of course we reached out immediately. Of course we didn't hear back. We didn't hear back until minutes before the statement. And we were told, well, we wanted to make sure we got in touch with Jeff Hardy. Yep. By far the right thing to do.
100%.
Because what were they going to do? Issue a statement and say, Jeff Hardy is going to be offered rehab or he's not coming back. Well, no, they did let him know that. They told him that. That's how you handle that. I do think they should have absolutely mentioned something about Jake Atlas not being in their employ anymore. They should have mentioned that, because I got that confirmed yesterday morning that Jake Atlas, after his domestic violence arrest, he had been technically expired for a while. He was on a per appearance deal, which I know a lot of people say, well, how is that? He had an All Elite graphic. Wish I had the answer to that. That's one I don't have the answer for. But he was on a per appearance deal that was suspended, and then it effectively lapsed during his time off before that happened. They should have just said that. They should have just said, he is no longer with AEW. He hasn't been since this date. I understand them not wanting to maybe call attention to it, but in that type of situation, I think it's probably best that they do issue something, if even not immediate. However, in this situation, this constant thing of like, oh, they've got to do it. A statement has to be made. I still have not seen a statement from WWE on his release. Had I not reported it, when would it have came out? A day later, 2 days later? I mean, there has been no WWE website statement on that. And that's not me saying that WWE is in the wrong there. They didn't feel like they needed to. They didn't. Then there are situations like the Jimmy or the Usos DUIs where they'll say a WWE superstar's actions are their own responsibilities. And I'm like, damn. I mean, that's a good way of saying, to hell with it. We don't care.
Yeah, it's a good way of saying he's part of a major storyline right now, and you know, we want to keep him on TV. I mean, I look at it like this: anybody that was bitching about how come he didn't release a statement, put yourself in the shoes of the talent. What if that was you that happened to, and your employer, before they talk to you, released a statement saying you are suspended without pay, and you're not coming back unless you complete rehab? You'd be pissed if you were the talent and they hadn't talked to you first, and then they released that statement. And that's the way you got to look at it. I don't blame Tony Khan at all. He wanted to have the conversation with Jeff first. I don't see a problem with it.
Yeah, it's just, I mean, this instant gratification thing is like, oh my God. I have learned an awful lot over the past 6 months. You don't got to comment on everything. You don't got to tweet about everything. So you don't owe a response to everything. In this situation, AEW for sure owed a response to a lot of people. They didn't owe it immediately.
Right.
This is a situation you have to address because of Jeff's history, because of his position in the company, because of the way that he came into the company after the unusual circumstances in which he left WWE. This was a situation where they did owe a stance. They did owe an update. However, they didn't owe it immediately. Give them some time. Let it breathe. Like 20 years ago, we not only would we probably not have got something, maybe it would have been like a memo or a statement issued to a newspaper or a magazine. It would have come a few days later. The world has changed since then, but just sometimes you got to let situations like that breathe. Cher says it's always better in PR to wait till you have all the information instead of issuing a comment and having to backtrack. Absolutely. Completely agree. And that's what they had to do here. Not only just have all the information, just to talk to him for the love of God, which they hadn't done. Mr. CJ Lilly said WWE is right to put a watcher on him to keep him okay. I don't know. I haven't heard anything about that. I don't know if that happened or not, but I can tell you that I felt really bad for Matt Hardy and Rebby Hardy catching the shrapnel, because I was able to clarify this the day after. So there was some confusion about 12:45, Jimmy. A lot of people saw that, and it was assumed or incorrectly reported. I was out of the office before any of those got updated, so I can't really speak to exactly how that was reported. But people saw 12:45 and a DUI. They certainly wouldn't first insinuate in the afternoon. As it turns out, he was arrested just before 10 a.m. on Monday morning and booked at 12:45 p.m. Matt Hardy last saw Jeff Sunday night, getting him to his hotel room, and had flown out by the time Jeff Hardy had been arrested. So, that opens up a whole other set of situations, a whole other set of questions. Okay, so one, he claimed, while intoxicated, mind you, so take it with a grain of salt, that he had an upcoming doctor's appointment to get a brain scan. Mm-hmm. Okay, why are you driving? I had post-concussion syndrome, Jimmy. I couldn't drive for a long time. I didn't feel safe doing it. It wasn't safe for me to be driving, so I didn't drive.
Can I ask you this? There was some speculation that he had already had that done and that he was confused. Have you heard anything about that?
No.
Okay.
Not a thing. It's just there was such a massive amount of irresponsibility here, and I'm not putting that on Matt, and I'm not. I don't think that AEW is completely not at fault, though. I mean,
given that, he's going to be in a ladder match this week.
Exactly. And I'll be talking more about that. I didn't want to put any of the DUI contingent stuff behind the paywall because I think that's gross. Yeah. So instead, we'll put a lot of the changing aspects of this and the tag team title scene on Fightful Select. It's just, man, it's just grossly disappointing, Jimmy, because other people's lives are at stake.
Yeah, I feel for Matt because, this always seems to have an impact on his career. And I remember when Matt, they put up a video, I don't know what it was, maybe a month ago, where he said that he aspired to win the IWGP Tag Team Championship. And I'm sure that they also want to win the AEW Tag Team Championship because they want to be the first team to win all of them. And now all of that is in the air. Like Jeff might never wrestle again in a major company for all we know. And so, all that's up in the air.
I had somebody close to him saying, I think this is it for him. And I said, he could do 5 years in prison and somebody will book him right out of prison. He's Jeff Hardy. Like, that's just the nature of it.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's like the Ric Flair thing, where we talked about how, well, if Rick is going to have a match at 73, it might as well be with Conrad because Conrad will take care of him. Mm-hmm. Otherwise, there'd be another promoter that's going to do it. And I agree with you. Jeff Hardy would be the exact same thing. Anywhere that somebody can see dollar signs, they're going to jump on it.
Mr. CJ Lilly says, was AEW too quick to sign him after he left WWE? I mean, there's a 90-day cooling off period there. So I wouldn't say so, but they should have made sure, or I don't know what type of measures were taken to make sure he was okay there. Matt Reichel says, I gave up drinking a year ago, want to get sober, and Jeff should want to get clean. AEW shouldn't bring him back till he's sober. I mean, that's the statement that they issued. Yeah. And I want to read directly from that because I know a lot of you all don't go on Twitter. And for that, I applaud you and congratulate you. But the statement issued was, we were able to resume contact with Jeff Hardy this afternoon, that being Tuesday. AEW does not condone Jeff's alleged behavior. We've made it clear to Jeff that we'll assist him in getting treatment for substance abuse issues, which he's indicated that he's open to receiving. In the interim, he is suspended without pay. He can only return to AEW upon successfully completing treatment and maintaining his sobriety. If you or a loved one needs help, please reach out to Sam HSA's National Helpline. So there's a lot of things to this. They hadn't talked to Jeff Hardy until the day after. They did say alleged behavior. For those of you who are up in arms over that, from a legal standpoint, you have to. For stuff like that, you have to say alleged, or else you're going to open yourself up to a lot of shit, possibly. But maintaining his sobriety, that is a minimum. Listen, contingent on you can't do anything anymore.
What do you think the timeline's going to be on that, Sean?
You know what? Let me take a look back at something. I think that the Sting situation is a pretty good baseline there. Like when he did that. So like we're talking like the Sting match was when? Good God, that was Victory Road 2011. And he was back that year. Like he was wrestling that year. So I don't think it's out of the realm of possibility that he's doing that again. Like he's,
of course, pending his conviction.
Assuming the best, Jimmy.
Yeah.
But I mean, if you look back at this, like, and I said on Twitter, I was like, he's a very nice guy. And somebody said, is he a nice guy if he keeps doing this? And I was like, you know what? You're right. How can I say that? It was a 6-month absence for him after that.
Right. And he had no jail time at the time.
Yeah, but we're talking about 2003. We're talking about 2009. We're talking about 2011. We're talking about several other incidents between then.
Yeah.
It's frustrating because he's an easily likable person, but God damn, man, you can't be doing this.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. And you know, again, Matt, so now they're out of the match, the tag team title match. They're just going to do the Bucks and Jurassic Express, unless I think you suggested they should add FTR, but they haven't, right? It's just the Bucks and Jurassic Express. Too bad for Matt, man. And you know, not that I thought that the Hardys were going to win the tag team titles on Dynamite this week, but at least they had the opportunity.
Well, FightfulSelect.com will have a lot of news on that. We're going to talk about it on the list goes on, but I'll also have a written report as well. KE775 says, when that incident happened at the house show in December, did WWE have pre-existing suspicions about Jeff, or did they act on that incident? I was never told that specifically, but considering his track record, you have to some degree, err on the side of caution there.
But don't forget, they tried to get him back.
They did try to get him back when it became known that his drug test was negative and his breathalyzer was negative. So we've got some more super chats, humper chats. Connor says, a little random, do you know the morale of Pac? Hope he finds his way to a title picture soon. Well, I would imagine that with the new title being established, he's going to be in a title picture soon. I haven't heard anything on the morale of Pac. I know that they are very flexible with his schedule, though. I'd heard that for quite a while back. Like they let him go home and etc. Mr. CJ Lilly says, don't forget his crash and drug arrest in TNA. That is unfortunate. And inaccurate.
Oh, that's right. Dax Ospreay. That's right. I forgot about that.
Yeah. Van Twinblade says Dax versus Ospreay.
Yeah.
Tonight. So no FTR in the tag match. Damn, I'm excited for that match though.
Yeah.
I am really pumped for that match. That sounds like a blast. And we have a humper chat. Somebody says, or share over there saying, how about the Reds in that 3-game winning streak? Hey, they're plugging their way back into it. They're heading back. I was in Cincinnati for a Van Gogh exhibit this week, Jimmy.
So I went to the same exhibit in Toronto.
Yeah.
Exact same one you went to, because my wife is into Van Gogh. I'm not an art guy. I don't have an appreciation for it, but she is. And as soon as we walked in, I don't know how it was for you. As soon as we walked in, she was immediately disappointed.
Really? Well,
she thought that there was going to be actual paintings there.
Well, if she's leaving disappointed, she should try BlueChew.com and the code 54. Maybe you should, Jimmy. Maybe you're just too disappointing.
That could be what it is.
Well, you know what? Whether you're anywhere in the States, BlueChew.com and the code FIGHTFUL has you covered. Same active ingredients as Viagra and Cialis. It's ready whenever the opportunity arises. The opportunity arises for what? An erect penis and great sexual performance. That's what. And BlueChew.com and the code FIGHTFUL gets you your first shipment free. Just pay $5 shipping. You don't have to wait in line at the doctor's office or the pharmacy. It's prescribed online after you speak with one of their online physicians. So no more long lines, no more awkward conversations besides this one that we're in right now. Perhaps you don't have that motivation. Perhaps you don't have that confidence. Perhaps you don't think you have that performance. Well, Blue Chew makes sure you have that performance. Check it out, BlueChew.com and the code FIGHTFUL. It's shipped to you direct and discreetly. BlueChew.com, code FIGHTFUL.
These props are excellent. So let me ask you this question, Sean.
I don't even have those.
I can get you copies. Let me ask you this
By
question.
the way, guys, get in your super chats, get in your humper chats. We're poor today.
You mentioned the new title, the All Atlantic Championship. Isn't it too much? Like, so long as they've got the Ring of Honor belts on AEW television, you know, I'm thinking about that Oprah Winfrey meme. You know, you get a car and you get a car and you get a car. I feel like it's becoming you get a belt and you get a belt and you get a belt. Isn't it too much? Like literally every match on the card's got a title, basically, of every show. That's where they're headed. Isn't it too much, Sean Ross Sapp?
Sure.
That's all? Just sure. That's it?
Sorry, I got an important message, Jimmy.
You did?
Yeah, I can't tell you about it, though.
Oh, well, what the hell is that?
I got important stuff going on, Jimmy.
Oh, really? Oh, that's good.
Anyway, back to everybody getting a car. What about it?
You didn't hear a word I said.
No, I had an important. Trust me, whatever I was just told is worth more money than whatever you just told me. So
I'm going to tell you guys something, and this is something that Sean and I have talked about in the past, right? And I know that everybody that watches the show sees it. So we'll do this podcast. And whenever he's either doing what he's doing right now, where he's looking down at his phone, or if you see him like looking off over here and then he's looking off over there, he's checking out like Twitter and the chat and shit. There have been so many times where he doesn't hear one fucking word that I say.
I just heard the word fucking because you got a filthy mouth.
Well, because if I say that, then you kind of perk up. Like if I use coarse language, then it actually gets your attention. There have been so many times, and I know you're not listening, Sean. I know you're not listening
right now. I'm listening right now. So what are you talking about? Everybody gets something. I wish everybody would get a super chat. That's what I wish everybody would get.
Isn't it too many belts? Like, don't they?
Yes.
Is there a need for the All Atlantic Championship? Was there a demand for it?
I'll tell you where it becomes too much for me. When you got the IWGP title on the program for now, which that's fine.
Yeah.
But you've got the AAA tags, you got the ROH tags, you got the ROH Pure, the ROH TV, the ROH World title, and somebody's saying AEW has 5 titles for 150 wrestlers. Wrong. They got all of ROH's belts on there. Yep. They got 2 Owen Hart Foundation belts, which, listen, I get it. They're not going to be defended. But, I mean, just the sheer sight of it. Yeah. Jimmy, I worked for a shindy, a terrible shit indie company. And there were like 6 matches on the card, and they wanted a title in every one of them.
Right.
And there was somebody, I'm not going to say who, but they had their first match. They had to have their first match in a pinch. And it was like a 1-minute squash match. And they said, what title should we put in this one? And I said, huh? That's how this feels. Now, I like stakes. I like that. But right now, it feels like everything's got a title associated with it.
And even the graphic for Ospreay and Dax Harwood, like you just said, they're not all defended, but the graphic, Dax had the Ring of Honor belt on his shoulder. Ospreay had the IWGP belt on his shoulder.
Yes.
And that's a match not for a title on the show.
And I'm okay with them integrating other companies' belts and even defending them and all of that. It's just right now it feels like a lot for me.
Yeah.
And
I agree with you. And that person that just said 5 belts for 150 wrestlers, they don't showcase 150 wrestlers weekly on Dynamite. They showcase maybe up to 20, maybe up to 20.
And also, that's just a lie. 5 belts, world title, all Atlantic,
Right.
TNT,
Right.
FTW, tag team titles, 2 women's titles,
Yeah.
and then now 2 Owen titles, the AAA,
Yeah.
ROH, TV, Pure, World.
And they're
There's
preparing the
so
trios.
many.
The trios is going to come.
Trios is going to come.
Yeah.
It's just a lot. And
It is a lot.
listen, I think it's a lot I think it's a lot how many WWE has. The difference is, and I'm not saying this is any better, a lot of those are completely ignored and never defended, which I also don't like whatsoever. Forgetting that there are titles there. It sucks.
I agree. To be honest with you, I'm an old school guy. Back in the day, you know, they had the WWF title, the Intercontinental title, the tag team titles. That's it. And then occasionally they had the women's belt, depending on how they were doing with Moolah. That's it.
I liked the aspect at like 2000 when it was WWF, Intercontinental, European, Hardcore, then a set of tag titles. I liked that a lot. Like, there's the higher mid-card belt, there's the lower mid-card belt, then there's like the Hardcore belt that's like a catch-all. Anybody can do this. If you need something, this is where people will pop up at, and then stuff would build to that. And there was the 24/7 title today should be like the Hardcore title was. It should be something we look forward to.
Right.
Like Becky Lynch winning that title and nobody wanting to challenge her for it because they're terrified of her would have been great. I think it would have been awesome.
And then she doesn't want it because it's basically a piece of tin, so she doesn't want it.
I mean, yeah, she can't get rid of the damn thing. Would be great. That would have been funny. That would have been entertaining. But didn't happen. We do have some super chats and humper chats. Chris Rain says, did you do the VR part of the Van Gogh exhibit? It was one of my favorite parts. I didn't. We almost did, but I did it mainly for my wife, and she was like, no, we'll pass on it. But
is that where you sit in the big room and they got the thing that goes all the way around? And
yeah, but I mean, we've got some friends with some VR sets. I'm pretty sure we could hook that up if we really wanted to. I know people.
Hey, you hooked me up with the Twitter stuff today. Good job, Sean.
I did. Daniel R says, should MJF be at Forbidden Door? If so, who should he fight? No, I don't think he should be at Forbidden Door. I don't think he should wrestle anybody there. I don't think that they should bring him back. Colt says, do you think we'll get an MJF run in anytime soon? They shouldn't. He shouldn't. Not right now. Think about this, Jimmy. We are 2 weeks from that promo, and we've already got people, and this isn't a shot at you, Colt, but saying, think we'll get it soon? That was one of the main complaints about CM Punk in 2011 was they just brought him back immediately. What the hell?
Right.
I can tell you it's been silencio on that from everybody ever since that week. Like, I've not heard from him anything. I even had an AEW wrestler say to me, I think you're lying and you actually have talked to him. And I said, no, I swear I haven't. But
I'm still impressed at the small town Kentucky and just threw out a Spanish word like that. Good job.
I'm going to learn Spanish, Jimmy. I'm dead serious.
Oh,
I'm
good.
Gonna learn Spanish.
What do they call it? Something stone? Rosetta
Stone? I might use that or Babel or something like that. Whoever gives it to me for free to mention them on the air.
Or you'll expense it.
Yeah, there we go.
You're gonna pull some shit on me, like, Jimmy. Here's what's gonna happen. So I'm gonna go to Mexico and cover AAA. I'm gonna get all these exclusive interviews.
I'm just saying, AAA. We are covering that this weekend. Not me, Carlos and Denise. I think are gonna do a great job. But I would want to learn Japanese if it didn't have a completely different alphabet.
Are they covering it in Spanish, Carlos and Denise?
No, but I mean, we are going to start Fightful Select Espanol eventually.
Jesus, we've been talking about this, I feel like, for 6 months.
I know, but I've got to make sure the right people are there. Basically, for those of you who don't know, what we're going to start there is it's going to be translated stories from English into Spanish, and we might have a couple podcasts over there in Spanish as well. But we definitely want to make sure we're not going to put money into a bunch of stuff that's going to like fail. So it'll probably be a rev share system or something like that. But
I believe that the first ever Fightful champion, Melissa, might be able to contribute.
She doesn't know shit. I speak better Spanish than her. Daniel says MJF should fight representing New Japan. I don't think so. But Hunter says, does AEW and New Japan working together at Forbidden Door do anything with the relationship with Impact in New Japan? Could Ace Austin or Chris Bay work a Bullet Club match at the show? Go Braves. I don't think Impact would be opposed to that. If I were them, I would want those two guys wrestling on this show.
Absolutely.
You got to
100%.
think of what's best for your brand overall. Like if Jeremy Lambert got hit up by Hot Ones and I didn't, I'd be like, Jeremy, go do Hot Ones and please mention Fightful. Like, please, that would be pretty good for us.
Okay, now my goal in life is to get Jeremy Lambert on Hot
It'd
Ones.
be great, wouldn't it?
That's awesome.
Chris says, can't wait for AEW tonight. Bald is Jericho. Well, we got some Jericho stuff to talk about, Jimmy.
Well, let me ask you, do you think he gets a buzz cut? You think Jericho's losing? Hair versus hair?
Well, it depends. I know for one, he doesn't fight jobbers, but
we're going to talk about that too, yeah.
I think his hair looks too good right now for him to cut. He's aged in reverse like 15 years.
Yeah, he's looked good since he dropped some weight. The only thing I will say is, so Ortiz did an interview, and I'm not suggesting that he showed his hand, but Ortiz did an interview where he said that he hasn't cut his hair in 5 years.
Yeah.
And when I saw that, I thought, is that a tip of the hat? Maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know. Jericho, he's been pretty good, I think, at putting over the younger guys. But this is a commitment if he decides to go that route. He's got his hair before. Yeah. But it's interesting. I hope that there's no schnoz. What did Bret Hart always call it? A schnoz finish?
Schmoz, yeah.
Schmoz, yeah. I hope there's none of that. I hope they just go with something clean. And I think the crowd would love to see Jericho, sit in the ring, get his head shaved. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, I feel like that would happen on pay-per-view, though.
Maybe. But I'm a big proponent of, do right by your television partner. So it's not the end of the world on it, but interesting. I'm very curious to see what happens with that one. That's good.
Derek DK sent a Humper Chat at humperchats.com, guys. By the way, you can leave those before we go on the air as well. So if you want a question for tonight's AEW post show, well, you can go ahead and go over to humperchats.com and get it in. Derek says, what does the 200 strong lyric mean in the opening song of Listen Ya Boy? Thanks, Dong Lord. I had that made for our 200th episode by a guy named Trevor Strong. We used a song of his as a transition for years for Stupid People News. Then I had him do a song for our 100th episode. So that was 200 episodes strong, and his name was Trevor Strong. And now the thing that we use effectively for transitions is Know Your News. A lot of that stuff are the shows that Jimmy does now. So a little bit of weaving in and out there.
Hey, what's amazing is when I took the stupid song from Trevor Strong, it was on his YouTube, the original stupid song. When I took that from his, and he was cool with it, with us using it. And then after a while, I went back on his YouTube channel one day for some reason, and I was checking out the comments on his video, and there was a whole bunch of people that said Fightful sent me here.
Yeah.
I thought, awesome. That's awesome.
And I mean, we've given him a ton of business. Like, he does custom songs.
Yes.
And he's very good at it.
Yes, he's very good. Yes, he is.
You all can actually go over to Fightful Scraps. It's youtube.com/Fightful Scraps. And you can look for the Fightful mixtape that we put together. And there are multiple songs over there. And our friend Dan Robert put together an actual physical Fightful mixtape. But Jimmy, how many songs from the mixtape can you name? No, put that down. God damn it, Jimmy.
13?
God damn it. There's more.
Yeah, is there more since this?
Oh, there's 17 now.
Okay, I got 13 on here.
We've got Ass Man, performed by myself and Jimmy.
Yeah.
We got the Fightful 100 and 200 song.
Yeah, that's not on here.
From Trevor Strong. Actually, 200 might not even. Yeah, it's on there. Don't Worry, Get Erect by Sean Ross Sapp. You got me and Alex doing the Harlem Heat theme. There's a Judas cover from Alex and Jeremy Lambert.
I forgot about that one. Yeah.
There's You're a Mean One, Miss Denise by yours truly.
Right.
The Girls Just Want to Have Fun a cappella cover by Denise. All I Want for Christmas Is You by Joel Pearl.
I forgot about that too. Yeah.
Listen, perhaps the greatest song ever in Fightful history. Thrifty, Jimmy. That was a good one. Oh, and Sexy Boy by Vince Russo.
Yes, Melissa's diss track was very good.
Melissa's diss track was very good.
Yeah,
that was excellent. Yeah. You did Stephanie McMahon's theme.
Yes. And you know what the biggest compliment I got for that? So many people were like, I didn't even know the lyrics until I heard Jimmy's version.
Yeah. There's also one called What's Up, in parentheses, you guys, which is somebody that had me cover our Truth's theme.
Remember?
But yeah, there's a lot of stuff. There's one called Soft is a Sin by Jimmy Van, Sean Ross Sapp, Alex Palowski, and Enzo Amore. But yeah, a good 22 minutes of fightful music. I'm going to share that to our YouTube right now. But
that last one you just mentioned, I don't have a clue what the hell you're talking about.
Yeah, there are some times when people just, they don't anymore since we've grown. People never put these together anymore.
That's because you're too legit now. You're too legit now. You're too serious.
Are you saying, Jimmy, that I'm too legit?
You're too legit.
Too legit to quit?
Yes. This
is there why sweat running all over my chest?
It used to be that if people wanted to find out about Sean Ross Sapp getting into a fight at a county fair, they could do it right here on the Listen Your Boy. Now they got to go to knowyournews.com to hear that stuff because now you're a reputable news journalist.
I do miss people putting together like music on like from our shows. I miss that a lot.
I'm game for doing some new stuff.
No, I don't want to perform. I just want people to take things and do them. Like some of those are really good. The Harlem Heat one was great, where I read out the lyrics from one of the samples of Harlem Heat's theme, which is super horny, Jimmy.
I remember.
Just, man.
We'll get some new stuff going. We'll work on
Allison Tuckwab, who has an awesome name, says, if I was a sibling to Jeff Hardy with the last name, I would be embarrassed being related to him for related to him for what he did. Yeah, I think, Allison, it's past the point of embarrassment and it's to the point of disappointment and probably fear for his safety and fear for the safety of others.
Yeah.
Like that's what I think probably is the situation there. And you don't want him to die, and you don't want somebody else to die as a result. Yeah, and blood's thicker than water.
Yeah, 100%.
Isaac Yankum says, any news on Bryan Danielson? Want to see Jimmy on Grapsody soon. I don't think Jimmy is a fit for Grapsody, but...
Hey, whoa. Are you being racist? What does that mean?
Muted. Yeah, Dutch people aren't welcome. Anyway.
Okay.
Update on Bryan Danielson. An update on Bryan Danielson. He, from what I had heard, had sustained a concussion, and I don't know when he's supposed to be back. I haven't heard a timetable, and I know he had to pull out of that appearance and could not fly, is what they were told. We have a Raj in the chat saying 2 months sober, had an alcohol withdrawal seizure. My doc said if you keep going or keep doing this, you'll die. I know that rationally put parts of me to keep telling myself one won't hurt. It's a consistent battle to stay sober and happy, but doable. Good luck, Jeff. Hey, buddy, we're proud of you. We hope that you can lean on members of our community or even us to help stay sober. I mean, whatever you got to do to do what's best for yourself within responsibility, do it, my friend.
Did I tell you that I got alcohol poisoning when I was 19, Sean?
Did you?
In college, in the dorm, living in the dorm. And so for almost 30 years now, I have been almost exclusively a beer drinker.
So we had a lot of people in my high school that died from drinking and driving. And I'm not talking like people hitting them on the road. I'm talking like they were drinking at age like 16, 17, driving and getting themselves killed. And then I remember I was at a high school party, and one of the things that made me not ever drink was there was a girl who was very clearly messed up. Like she was vomiting, she was passed out, and they were just going to leave her in there, and she started to foam from the mouth.
Yeah, like, you can't do that.
And they were like, what do we do? What do we do? And I was like, you take her to the fucking hospital is what you do. And I didn't have a driver's license at that time. I had not gotten one yet. Nobody would drive her. I had to drive her there. And she was very kind after that and thanked me for doing that when she got straight, and she never drank again.
So then did you date her until she stole one of your friend's phones?
No.
Oh, that wasn't her.
I'd like some context applied to that in the future.
Knowyournews.com,
YouTube.com. Full disclosure, I don't want bullshit like that out there without context. And you know why, Jimmy. But
I'm kidding. But if you go to youtube.com/knowyournews, Sean told the story.
A completely serious story that Jimmy just threw that into, by the way. Please don't do that, Jimmy. I got some fucking weirdos on the internet. Some real weird people. But
when I had alcohol poisoning when I was 19, ironically enough, my friends in the dorm did the same thing, where I woke up and my wallet was on my chest, and there was a guy sitting in the corner, and he told me that they had been keeping watch on shifts.
I mean, if you don't care for yourself, other people, you can't count on other people to do it. You cannot count on other people to do it. That's kind of the point of that. That girl could have died. Like,
so
she could have,
in the case of your friends, was it because they were young and afraid? Is that what it was?
I'm sure. Yeah.
Because that's what happened
positive.
with me. Yeah, that's what happened with me. They were 19-year-old kids, and they said they thought they were going to get in trouble. They thought they were even maybe going to get expelled from school. That's what it was.
Yeah, and I mean, you just don't want a situation where somebody gets hurt or dies. That's what I'll say. That's more important than anything else. And we had another situation where probably some alcohol was involved. Fortunately, it ended without incident. Chris Jericho and MVP, Jimmy.
Yeah, so
I was told Jericho was not drinking, though.
Okay. You'll have to explain to me where the beef started. I understand it was a Twitter thing. How did this beef begin that led to them having this little hotel confrontation?
So they had a bit of a disagreement on Twitter about some political and social stuff. Publicly.
Really?
And it carried over to the DMs, and things got a little disrespectful there from what I understand. And after that, they didn't really keep in touch or talk or anything like that. MVP was at the hotel after the AEW show in Houston, and I was told that I think I said MJF. I mean, MVP was at the show in Houston.
Someone's going to report it, Sean Ross Sapp.
I'm sure they will.
Yeah.
But MVP was there. He was visiting with some friends. And I was told that Jericho came down in the lobby. Who knows for what? Uber Eats, take a shit. Maybe his bathroom was clogged. Who knows? Who cares?
Pajama pants.
But he was down there, yeah. And MVP approached him, and somebody said it was a bit of an aggressive manner. And when aggressive, they meant it was very clear he was going to at least have a heated conversation. And he invited Jericho to kind of step outside and handle it. And Jericho got in the elevator, and as the elevator doors closed, he goes, "I don't fight jobbers," which is cold.
I mean, MVP would have whooped him. But
yeah, so I mean,
no one needs to see that, though. There's no benefit.
Yeah, there's no benefit. One person told me that they believe somebody in AEW called Johnny Ace to kind of tattle about it, but Johnny Ace was like, "Anybody get hit?
Right.
Cool, I don't give a shit."
Right.
Like one of those. And that's not verbatim. That's just what I heard.
Yeah.
Nobody from AEW had heard that, but very clearly some stuff that carried over there. And I reached out to both of them, and I had heard about this story Double or Nothing weekend, but it seemed like a nothing story. So I was just not going to say anything about it. But then very clearly just one side of it had gotten reported. So I wanted to reach out to Jericho and MVP. Jericho said, "Nothing more to say. I don't fight jobbers." And I said, "Okay." And MVP said, "We used to be friends. We're not anymore. It didn't happen like that." So there you go, man. It
is what it is. They both seem like good guys, but sometimes, oil and water. Sometimes guys just don't mix. I mean, it is what it is.
Yeah. Yeah. It doesn't always work out the best for everybody.
Yeah.
And sometimes you're not going to be friends with people that you like.
Yeah. Yeah. Let's talk about the WWE World Title picture. So here's my first question for you. When they made Roman Reigns the unified champion at Mania, did Vince McMahon know that Roman was going to be taken on a reduced schedule when they made the decision to make him the unified champion?
I think yes, but like there's this weird territory where a higher up or a PR person may have outright lied to media and said, "Oh, well, he's just taking reduced house shows."
Yeah.
Now, he was on that first pay-per-view. It was in a tag match. Was that dumb? Yes, it was dumb. It was very stupid. He wasn't on the next pay-per-view. That's dumb. He's apparently not scheduled for Money in the Bank. 3 weeks ago, I would have said, it's not too dumb. It's Money in the Bank. They can sell it on Money in the Bank, and Cody Rhodes, John Cena will be there. You can, sure, whatever. Defend the title on SmackDown, and I'm fine with it. But, man, you're setting the precedent that your premium live events that are being paid $1 billion for aren't going to have your top prize. And I got these goofs on the internet saying,
UFC title, the UFC title.
UFC is not a weekly episodic show. Come on, bro. Get over
You're
it.
telling me that Fat Albert tells you stuff about the UFC title?
He sure does. He sure does.
Do you even know who Fat Albert is?
Yeah, of course I do.
Okay, all right.
I used to watch Fat Albert all the time. What the hell's
Okay.
wrong with you?
I don't know. I don't know what you
wrong
did
with
when you were a
you?
kid in Kentucky.
Philip says Eddie Kingston should get a Foley-like title run. I agree. I think maybe one day he will, actually. But him defending the title against Riddle on TV, I'm like, all right, cool. That makes sense. But I mean, like, we were in a situation where 2.5 months in, Roman Reigns hadn't defended that title on TV.
Yeah.
Either one of them. And I think that's a little much, right? Like,
Yeah.
it's a little much.
Yeah, I mean, we could rehash the same old shit about how Vince doesn't know how to create stars, and now this is the problem he's in. But I mean, it is what it is. In terms of, you know, programs for Roman coming up. So obviously he's got Riddle on Friday. They got the match. Bobby Lashley at Hell in a Cell. He did the motion with the belts. Now they got Bobby Lashley currently, it looks like, in a program with Theory. But when he did the motion with the belt, he's not talking about the U.S. title.
It's not an accident.
No. So do you think that after Riddle, Lashley's going to be next for Roman? Because if so, why the hell is Lashley doing anything with the U.S. champion if they're planning for him to be with the world champion?
I don't think that they would have him do the title belt thing.
Yes.
And imply U.S. title. I just don't think they do that. I don't think it's an accident that they do that.
Right.
I don't think that was the original plan, but I think that is the plan now. That's my personal. Yeah, and that's not me reporting it. That's just my personal opinion on it.
Yep. Okay,
That's how
and
it
I know
looks to me.
I know Drew McIntyre has been pitching for a match at Clash of the Castle in September.
Mm-hmm.
So if they do that, then they're September. But then here's the next question. And you know how we've talked before about how Vince sometimes paints himself in a corner?
Yes.
Because he doesn't think ahead. So
look at the entire booking from July 2019 through like March 2020. It was abysmal. Brock getting the briefcase and then immediately cashing it in like that quick. The Kofi to Brock title thing, the Fiend situation, the Fiend losing it to Goldberg after that. There were like 6 all-timer, goofy, terrible, bad decisions then, and there were still people that defended it. Look back at that. They took the title off Kofi Kingston to put it on Brock in like 10 seconds so he could wrestle Cain Velasquez in Saudi Arabia. How'd that one age?
Yeah. Well, in terms of painting themselves into a corner, so you've got Theory, who they're priming for Cena. I mean, everybody seems to think that's what they're going to do. They got Lashley, who apparently they're going to prime for Roman. Neither one of those guys can lose. You know what I mean?
They should be in a situation where a lot of people shouldn't be losing, but this is the paint into the corner thing, where you do have those 2 guys that need to win.
Yeah.
And here they are. But look at what they do all across their show, Jimmy. Rhea Ripley was winning. She loses to Liv Morgan, and then the next week she goes, here we go. Time for a title match. All right, why did she lose to her? Cameron Grimes lost his other title and then immediately steps up and is like, time for me to compete for the world title.
Yeah.
That shouldn't be the way that it works.
Yeah, I don't know. It is weird. And what did you think of the pose down, by the way?
It was stupid. It was one of the worst, dumbest main event segments I've seen in WWE for many reasons. One, it wasn't entertaining. It wasn't funny. Didn't make me want to see him fight more. And 2, Lashley didn't do his favorite pose, Jimmy. If they would have just had Leo Rush a one-off, come out with a microphone and say, no, Lashley, hit him with your favorite pose. Crowd erupts.
Yeah.
There you go.
That would have been funny. That
would have been great.
Yeah, it would. And of course, me being the old school fan, I immediately recognized that they did the 89 Rumble finish.
Of course, yeah.
So if anybody hasn't seen the 89 Rumble, Warrior Rick Rude posed down. Bobby Heenan sprayed the bottle into Warrior's face. Theory, and I guarantee you Vincent Mann took it from that, or Pritchard.
Yeah.
I guarantee you they took it from that. But I don't know. The only one thing I do want to say, and I've talked about this before, sometimes I'll see people on Twitter, they'll say, why did they put that in the main event? Why did they put that in the main event? And we've talked about this before. The main event hour of Raw is no longer considered the main event hour. And it hasn't been for a long time. And WWE knows it. Their viewership primarily comes in the first hour and in the second hour, and particularly the tops of the hour. So like,
well,
8,
then
9, 10.
start off the show with something hot instead of a promo,
Which is what they
week.
should do, because that's when you're going to get, probably your largest fan base. But at 10:59 or 10:55, whatever, that's their smallest audience.
And they were going up against the fourth quarter of the NBA Finals, for sure.
Right.
But you know what? Whether you're going up against the fourth quarter of the NBA Finals or the main event of Raw, you can do it anonymously, privately, and securely with NordVPN.com/Fightful, Jimmy. Look at that. It's a beauty. NordVPN.com/Fightful not only is the fastest VPN in the world, but it works on all your devices. You can change your virtual location with just one click, access shows and services that you can't access in America. I ordered the UFC pay-per-view this weekend and enjoyed the heck out of it at a much more discounted rate, thanks to NordVPN.com/Fightful. Jimmy, what are you doing there? Nord has made an incredible investment in us, right?
Continue
Have
your
some
thing
respect. Have some respect, Jimmy. Have some respect. NordVPN.com/Fightful gives you a great deal and a 30-day money-back guarantee. Some respect, Jimmy. And NordVPN provides you that respect. Jimmy, what are you doing?
I honestly don't know what this is.
I know what you're doing. You're looking in there because you're curious. You're like, is this where I'm going to find the details? The details on what? The details on the new 3 plans that NordVPN.com/Fightful has for all of our viewers. The standard, which just has the VPN, plus, which has VPN plus a pass, and then complete, which gives you a VPN pass and a locker, plus an additional month free on all plans and products. You can generate and store strong passwords, protect files in an encrypted cloud. NordVPN.com/Fightful. Have some decorum, Jimmy.
So this was sitting in the corner. This is sitting in the corner of the studio. I don't even know what this is. Do you know what this is? So this is a piece of blue plastic. Can you see that? It's a piece of blue plastic.
Yeah.
And then that's a piece of red plastic right there. What would these be for? Would they be to change like the color on a camera lens or something? Do you see that there?
Or light.
Oh, for a light.
Your lights, probably. You can probably put those over top of one of those. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Anyway,
I don't know what that's doing in here. I saw
Anton says NBC isn't bothered that Reigns isn't on their PLEs. They should be. They absolutely should be.
Yeah, there's a lot of questions that I would love to get answered by that. And, it'd be great if McAfee could have Vince on again and ask him some of the good questions instead of just kissing his ass. But I understand it was what it was.
Our friend Allison Tuckwab says, I'm a Hardy fan. I like that they do flips. His brother can pull them off too. But I think they're going out with a bang. And after that, they're going to retire at the same time. I think that probably whenever Jeff comes back, assuming he does, it'll probably be their last run, Allison. I agree with you. Jeff told us at a media event that it was going to be his last run with the Hardys. Right. He said that time has kind of passed, but I mean, this affects Matt greatly too. So
yeah, I feel for Matt.
Unfortunate to see.
Yeah, I feel for Matt. Yeah.
T. Smitty says, instead of giving the winners of the Owen Hart tournament belts, what about giving them a title shot at the champ of their choosing? I would love that. Or even one at random. Like you pick it out of a hat or something like that. Or
some kind of stakes. Yeah.
Some kind of stakes. But guys, I want to thank you all so much. We're going to be heading over to the list goes on.
Hey, Sean.
Yeah.
Did you know that Tessa Blanchard is leaving Women of Wrestling? Did you know that?
Yeah. Did you hear that Cecil Fielder's coming back from Japan and he signed with the Detroit Tigers?
Really?
Yeah.
Really? I heard a rumor that
I think
might
he
get back into wrestling.
I think he could hit 50 home runs this year. I really do.
Interesting. Wow.
Barry Bonds made the 30-30 club. It's incredible. Daniel says, how many matches at Forbidden Door and who will Eddie face? I think we'll probably see about 8 or 9 of them. But who will Eddie face? I think Eddie will get a good singles match. He should at least. Who do you think? I think Eddie will probably get a pretty high up name because they know the respect that's there. I want to say Naito would be good. And Philip T says, what's next for Brock Lesnar? I don't know.
Brock is in the woods. So I saw Brock eating a beefsicle. Did you see that? was a cowsicle.
I got a kebab from the fair this week. $15. It was terrible.
Well, that must have been a good 10-pounder that Brock was basically eating like a lollipop. So he's out butchering with where are those guys based? Ohio, I think.
Who the hell cares?
Yeah, he's out
Either
butchering
way,
with those guys.
Sharks Freely says Roman should lose to Cody, and that's the reason The Rock comes back to challenge Roman, because he loses faith in Roman as head of the table. I'd be okay with that, but I think that you could do that a number of ways. I think that Seth Rollins could win it and set up another Cody match.
Yeah,
there's a lot of things you can.
I think Rollins right now. Rollins is basically their MVP right now. Although Riddle's doing an awesome job, but Rollins is basically their MVP right now.
Coxhead wraps us up and says, "Don't know if you all can comment. Do you think the high risk matches that Jeff has had could have caused the most recent issue for Jeff? No, you don't. High risk matches don't make you drink Fireball at 9 a.m. and get behind the wheel of a car. Absolutely not. I know a lot of wrestlers that have done wild shit, and they ain't get behind the wheel. Guys, thank you all so much. Please leave us the thumbs up. We are back for AEW tonight. Post shows every single night, all the way through next week. Check it out, guys. Got an interview with Steve Macklin that drops Thursday. My mic pack messed up. Didn't get that audio, but I got the camera audio still. And we're probably dropping one, I think, with Theory on Friday. I was able to recover that footage, and there's some really fun information in there, especially about MSG. That will be up on Fightful Select early.
So did I let you get a new camera for nothing? Like, so did I say, go ahead and get your new camera, and then you found all that footage that you thought you lost? Is that what happened?
No. Different situation. One of the cards that I had got corrupted, but I was able to recover it.
Okay.
Until next time, guys, head over to FightfulSelect.com. We'll break news on The List Goes On. We're out.